So you're going to say the first words?
Hey, it's Chris with Homes by Chris Harter. And we are
Hi,
here
I'm Cory. I am with Homes by Chris Harter also. Welcome, everybody. This is our weekly live show. We did one last week. I'm not sure if we did it completely correct, but we did it. Whether you're there, you missed it. If not, you can't see it again because we forgot or did not know how to record it. So it's a learning process. But anyway, we're waiting for Chad Brown. He's a CPA owner of Kinstler Brown Companies. He's an accountant here. He's going to answer some questions for us today about the recession. What do I do now? But until he gets on, we'd just like to introduce ourselves. Again, we are with Homes by Chris Harter real estate team, powered by eXp Realty. Chris and I have been realtors in Nebraska and Iowa for the last few years. We work with home sellers, buyers, investors. And we truly believe that every family should feel confident when buying and selling a home, and that is our goal. So if you guys have questions, anything regarding real estate, you can actually type them in here, and we'll do our best to answer them. We thought we'd update you real quick with the interest rates right now today. They actually are, the 30-year fix is 7.2. It's down a little bit, believe it or not. But if you look at the 1st of September, it was in the sixes, low sixes. So it's crept its way up, but it sounds like things may be going down a little bit as we move forward. 10-year is 6.59%. And then your 5-year ARM is 5.44%. That's something that you might want to take a look at. We did just recently buy an investment property on a 5-year ARM. We're betting that the interest rate will go down in the next few years, and then we can refinance. But if you're looking at investment properties and you buy based on the numbers, it doesn't matter if the interest rate's 15% or 1%. As long as those numbers work out, it's going to be a good investment, right? So anyway, that's kind of where we're at now. I don't know, Chris, what do you got?
Well, a couple things within the real estate business. If you're a realtor right now and we are dealing with these higher rates, and maybe some buyers are kind of backing off because they only heard about the last 2 years when now the rate is almost double, right? So they're holding on. But honestly, they should really consider moving forward, because you're either going to buy a house at a fair market value these days with a little bit higher rate. And like Cory said, maybe in the future, you can refinance or go with the 5-year ARM. Or in the last 2 years, you bought a house that was highly inflated in price and gave away the farm. You gave away your inspections. So maybe you're putting a new roof or putting in a new furnace or something because you forego all the inspections, and you didn't have an appraisal, so you paid the appraisal gap, and maybe that your home didn't appraise for that too, but you didn't care and you did everything you could to get into that home. So you really have to compare the two scenarios, because I think you're in an equally good space right now with the interest rate and a fair market value for the homes. Hey, Chad. Chad is joining us now. Chad Brown.
There you go. Sorry about the technical difficulties. My phone decided that there was no internet to be had.
Oh, dang it.
Probably in a place that should have internet, right? So.
Yeah, well, I pulled over. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're in good shape for a little bit.
We can see you and hear you, so it's good.
Yeah. So good, this is Chad Brown.
What's going on, guys?
Chad, you're Chad Brown, CPA owner, president of Kinstler Brown Companies, with us today. We appreciate you coming on board. I was letting everybody know we did this last week. I told them they missed it because we didn't figure out how to get it recorded, but so they're lucky to see it this week, and then we'll hopefully get this recorded and put it back up on some other areas for everybody to reference and things like that. So, but Chad's kind of our resident tax expert, and he's agreed to come on to talk anything and everything taxes. If you have any questions, you can put them in the side there, and we'd be more than happy to answer them or have Chad answer them. And I think today you kind of had a few words you wanted to talk about recession or things like that, or?
Yeah, well, that's the big talk that people are throwing around these days. What it looks like, what's the impact going to be, especially when you're in a small business community, and we work with a number of small businesses, so there's concern out there. So, what are some things that businesses, individuals can do in terms of recession? Not necessarily from a tax planning standpoint. I guess some could be utilized in that aspect, but just in general, what are things that we can do to be prepared? And I just came from a seminar that provided an economic kind of look forward into the future by a lead economist. And the good news is it's not going to be as bad as what some may be speculating on the media and everything. However, are going to be challenges to businesses and individuals. So that's just something that I would kind of bring up as a topic of conversation. I know you guys as business owners have gone through challenging times like this. I have. What are we doing different now to kind of be prepared for that?
So how was their outlook? Sunny or cloudy?
It was fairly cloudy. But it wasn't kind of off the cliff cloudy. Now that could change. Employment's still fairly strong. Everybody's looking. There's like 2 jobs for every 1 person that is actively looking for employment. So that that's a challenge that's going on with us. But within those challenges is kind of opportunities as well. One thing he did highlight is, and this might not be true for every business, but if you did good the last couple of quarters in 2020, first part of 2021, did really, really good, you may expect a drop off in 2023, simply because if you did well during that time, a lot of folks had savings, had some COVID money, had time for maybe remodeling. All these things came together and they were in a very strong position. So if you were getting money during that time, real estate, right, it shot up. That's your guys' industry. It might be a tough cycle for a few quarters into 2023 and maybe into 2024 is what he was saying. But if you struggle during those times and fall through it, chances are you're going to see an upswing.
Well, I completely agree with what you said earlier about there's always opportunity in any market. And in fact, I think in any business really in general, you just got to look for it. We were talking just before you came on about investing in like real estate and probably any business, I suppose. You can give me your opinion, but it's like if the numbers work out, it doesn't matter if the interest rates are at 15% or 2%. If you're getting your return and you're making money, that's a good thing. And I'm a true believer too. If run where people are running from, because that's where the opportunity is. But it does take a little bit of you got to be confident and you got to be willing to maybe learn a little bit or lose a little bit before you win too sometimes. So
no, I mean that's 100% on point. I'll just speak from experience in 2008, 2009, kind of when that crash came. I know a lot of individuals that turn that doom and gloom scenario that so many were facing into huge opportunities that have paid them 10x return since then, every year by investing in real estate. And you're 100% right. If I can find a deal to get into, and I'm not heavy into the real estate, but it's something I'm looking at now.
Or any business though, really. I mean,
yeah, right. Is right now there's going to be good deals out there. And if the numbers make sense and it's a good investment, you go for it. The thing with real estate and even buying another business, depending on how you structure the deal, but say for instance, real estate, you come in, you find a good deal, you buy it. Yeah, you're going in with a little higher interest, right? So you're margin might be a little less, but in 2 years you refinance it and you've got an asset that now you bought low. You've eliminated that high interest cost. You're ahead of the game. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities. A couple guys that were at the table today, they're hungry to acquire additional businesses that are in manufacturing kind of in their wheelhouse, because they're going to be impacted more because they're heavy debt load on those businesses that they know. And when you got variable rate loans, I mean, now it becomes very hard to operate a business. And so there's going to be businesses out there that are over leveraged that you'll be able to take opportunities and buy.
Absolutely. And it's, there is, like you said, I know just from the past, there is money out there that you can borrow, and I mean, it's not what it was last year, but it's still competitive and it's still available. Like I said, if the numbers work. So there's really no reason, if you're looking at investing in that aspect, that if the business is a good, solid business plan, the money's out there if you want to move forward. So,
yeah.
What are some maybe safety nets that you could talk about on the tax side if we are going into something and maybe that you might have a bad first 2 quarters of the next year, some things you can do to plan for? And
I think what you'll see a lot of it, and with employment being so high, a lot of times when the recession hits, it's because there's extensive layoffs, right, in certain industries. And there may be in various industries, and then you need cash. So cash is essentially king in a recession. A lot of people don't have that liquid cash available. So what happens is they end up selling some stocks or assets that they've acquired. And potentially some might be performing really, really well, but you balance, sell some losses, sell some gains, net out, so you're not paying tax on. So you got to be smart in doing that since you're managing cash flow. And it may be 12, 18-month cycle you have to go through, right, in some cases. So you want to be smart about divesting if that's something you need to do to keep cash and coming in and food on the table. Balance those gains versus those losses so you're not being taxed on those.
So is it, let's say if somebody's interested or has more questions about that, is it too late for 2022 to make those types of adjustments, or can they still do those types of things before the end of the year?
No, they can do those types of things through the end of the year. Yeah. So
Chad would be a good one to reach out to if you have any of those questions. I'm sure he can help you with some of that tax planning. So.
Yeah, and that goes with selling real estate or whatever. Sometimes there's ways to navigate, some of the cap gains against maybe you got an underperform over here. Let's net those two out.
So what about 2023? Are there any major tax changes that you might be able to highlight? Just the big things. You don't have to go into the weeds, but some changes that we might see.
Yeah. Some of the accelerated depreciation limits for businesses are going to go away, at least. It's tough to say right now, guys. Right now, they're scheduled to go away. There's several deductions that are scheduled to go away till we get to November, December when they do some extension acts and stuff. And that's typically what happens towards the end of the year. They'll either renew these credits on a go forward. Once we get that certainty, it's easier to do a little bit of planning into the next year.
Gotcha. So if anybody has any questions, they can go ahead and type them into the box. We'd be more than happy to answer them. Again, we're with Chad Brown, CPA, owner of Kinstler Brown Companies. He's a local CPA here in town and in Omaha. Be more than happy to answer any questions you have. We do have his number up on the screen, 712-352-2505 if you want to reach out to him personally. If you don't want to.
2505?
2505, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
2505,
2505, right?
352-2505.
Yeah, 2505. this is our
What's up?
first. Yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
there. But
There's
anyway.
someone asking about accelerated appreciation. I'm
Yes, did
assuming
you mention that?
I assume they mean depreciation.
Yes.
Accelerated depreciation is acquiring assets and being able to, maybe it's a 5-year, 7-year asset. Instead of depreciating it over 5-7 years, you expense it all in the current year. That makes sense. So you get that, like you go out and buy a big piece of equipment that you need for your business. Typically, you would depreciate it over a number of years. Right now, you can get that bonus accelerated depreciation, take 100% this year.
So we always get the question too, or I've asked the question, everybody wants to know, what kind of vehicle can I write off? And I've heard that it weighs so much, or can you expand on that?
Yeah.
Or can you write a vehicle off if you don't have a business too?
You can. Well, if you don't have a business at all, that becomes very challenging anymore. If you're a W-2 employee, the 2106 deductions went away back in 2017, unfortunately. But yeah, vehicle with a gross vehicle weight of 6,000 plus pounds can be Section 179. There were limitations on that as well, up to $25,000 with special depreciation. That's gone away, at least for this year. So you got folks buying large vehicles for the business.
So is that depreciated over 1 year, or is it over a certain amount of years?
No, you can take the advanced depreciation on in 1 year. That's what's going away. Sorry, guys, I had something clicking in on the computer.
That's all right.
See, I think I need a new car,
Yeah,
Chris, our new truck.
that's something that, on the vehicles, a lot of people want to buy them, depreciate the whole thing, get that huge deduction, right? And then do the same thing next year. Unfortunately, there's this thing called recapture because it's still 5-year property, but you took all that 5 years worth of depreciation over here in year 1. If you sell it in year 2, you got to recapture all of that depreciation you took as ordinary income, and then you write the new vehicle off. So it's you can't do it every year. And
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that's a challenge, and it has to be used in the business. It can't be a new 2022 Ford Bronco soft top that you put a business sticker in it, right?
And who bought that?
Right
No.
So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
I did learn from a CPA that I could, because my office is from home, because EXP is, in the cloud company. Some can open their own satellite offices, but because I work from home, of course, there's space and utilities that I can write off. But on my mileage, most people have to drive to an office and they subtract those miles. But really, from the get-go, when I leave the driveway, those are my miles, because this is my office, really.
Right.
That's interesting too. Do you have any comments on mileage and writing that off, what you can and can't do? Or?
Yeah. So typically, if you have an office, you're from home to your office is commuting, right? But as Chris said, she has an office in home. She leaves and she's going to work, to show home, to do anything work related. The mileage starts. So typically, from a mileage standpoint, you can go from, say you go home to office, that's commute. Anything in between that's work related is deductible mileage. And that's 56.5 cents, I believe, a mile that you get a deduction for. Now, the key thing is you can either take the standard mileage rate or actual expenses. You can't take both. So, for instance, you can't depreciate the vehicle, take your actual gas, fuel, oil changes, all that as expenses, and then also take mileage. It's one or the other.
What's the better deal?
It depends on the situation, actually. It really does.
So what
if
you're doing the miles?
I'm sorry?
I said, what if you had a brand new Bronco? What would be the better deal?
It depends on how it's owned, but from a business standpoint, if the business owns the vehicle and you're using that for personal use, technically the business needs to consider that fringe benefit compensation, right? But
I know they have apps out there
if
too, so you can
if
put
you're not
in, is this a business trip or a personal trip?
right, so you have to manage those. So folks buying a car, they say is 100% business, but they're an accountant. That's very tough to do
Yeah.
if you're driving that vehicle all around town on your personal. It's just very difficult. So businesses where it's 100% business, construction, they buy big construction vehicles. That's a construction vehicle. But if their employees take it home and drive it overnight, it could be argued that it has some personal use as well. But hey guys, I hate to cut it short. I have to cut out. I'm sorry I was a little late getting on, but I've got to get to another meeting.
No, you're good. We appreciate your time and your insight on the tax scene here in the United States of America and what to look forward to. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, we look forward to doing it again. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
All right.
Chad.
Have a
Take
great
care.
day.
Bye-bye.
Take care. So anyway, we've probably extended our time here, so I think we can probably wind it up. Chris, you have any closing comments?
No, I'm just appreciating, the time that Chad is giving us. I know he's actually away on a conference, and that's why he had to go get in his car to get Wi-Fi. And if you have questions at any time for Chad or Cory or myself, feel free to reach out. You can do the number. You can go to my website, homesbychrisharter.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. I mean, there's hardly a way you can't get a hold of us. If you have questions about real estate and tax things, Chad is a neighbor of ours and a local expert, and also does bookkeeping. And so it's great to have his expertise and services available. And we look forward to continuing this and learning a lot as we go.
Yeah, thanks a lot for everybody for joining us. We really appreciate your time. And we really are trying to do this podcast to educate ourselves, educate you guys, provide any type of information we can, and serve you guys as much as we can, primarily regarding the real estate market, hopefully bringing in some other experts that will overflow into other types of topics also. So thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.